A very good evening to all, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Today is 23rd September 2025, Tuesday class. As usual, we will be continuing our sharing from this book, the Lotus Flower Dhamma, the wonderful Dhamma Lotus Flower Sutra. Okay, as usual, let us gather and we will have our physical puja. Let us compose our mind, develop the faith, saddha, viriya, then mindfully we shall commence the puja chanting. Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛 Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛 Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛 Namo 观世音菩萨 Namo 观世音菩萨 Namo 观世音菩萨 Namo 阿弥陀佛 Namo 阿弥陀佛 Namo 阿弥陀佛 Namo 弥勒佛 Namo 弥勒佛 Namo 弥勒佛 Namo 药师佛 Namo 药师佛 Namo 药师佛 Namo 普贤菩萨 Namo 普贤菩萨 Namo 普贤菩萨 Namo 地藏王菩萨 Namo 地藏王菩萨 Namo 地藏王菩萨 Namo 佛菩萨 Namo 佛菩萨 Namo 佛菩萨 Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sanghang Namami Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Buddhang Saranang Gacchami Dhammang Saranang Gacchami Sanghang Saranang Gacchami Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami Yampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami Panatipata Ramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Adina Dana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Kamesu Miccācara Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Musawada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Surameraya Majapamadatthana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Ganna Sarapatithena Dipena Tamadang Sina Tiloka Dipang Sambuddhang Pujayami Tamonudang Ganda Sambara Yuthena Rupena Hang Sugang Hina Puja ye puja niyantang Puja bhajana muttamang Vanna ganda gunupetang Etang kasuma santatin Pujayami munindasa Siri pada sarorohe Pujemi bedang kasumena nena Punnena matena cha hotu mokkang Pupang milayati yata idang me Kayo tata yati vinasa bawang Adivase tuno bante Paniyang parika pitang Anu kampang upadaya Patigan hatu mutamang Adivase tuno bante Pale parika pitang Anu kampang upadaya Patigan hatu mutamang Adivase tuno bante Bojanang parika pitang Anu kampang upadaya Patigan hatu mutamang. Now you chant the puja aspiration based on our understanding of the significance of all these puja offerings. Significance of offering of light. May this offering of light to the Buddha brings forth the causes and conditions to illuminate our mind and arise the needed clarity and understanding to dispel all darkness of ignorance therein. Significance of offering of water. May this offering of pure, clear, cool water lead us to the pure, clear Dhamma that cools and doses off the fires of all defilements within our mind. Significance of offering of incense. May our morality, virtue and understanding shine forth far and wide, just like the fragrance of this incense which we are offering to the Blessed One, who is perfect in wisdom and virtue. Significance of offering of fruits. May this offering of fruits remind us of the Dana Parami of generosity and the fruit of all karma, so that we will diligently strive on with heedfulness to attain the path and fruition as soon as possible. Significance of offering of flowers. May this constant offering of flowers to the Blessed One strengthen our faith and constantly remind us of the impermanence of this body, so that we will diligently and sincerely strive on to cultivate Sila, Samadhi and Panya, leading to ultimate liberation, the born-free Nibbana, making of whole all aspiration. By the power of all these merits, born of these offerings, may our spiritual faculty of Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi and Panya be further strengthened until they become balas or powers, sharing and transfer of merits to all beings. May these merits be shared and transferred to all beings without exception, especially to those who have the condition and affinity to receive them. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, now we pay respect to Puja. Padang Pujami. Dhammang Pujami. Sanghang Pujami. So, awareness-based meditation is to develop our inner awareness so that we can develop the stability of sati leading to heedfulness. To do that, you can follow whatever skillful means or technique or method or whatever meditation procedure that can help you develop sati. The first thing is to develop sati, then stabilize it to be ever mindful. Sati is mindfulness. To be in that state, your mind has to be completely quiet, silent, without thought. Otherwise, you will be heedlessly verbalizing, chattering, or lost in thought. So developing sati, if you understand, you can follow the 4 support that I have shared with you all to develop this inner awareness. The first support is relax. Relax into every mind state that manifests. Whether there is any tension, tightness or stress within body and mind, you just relax into it. Body and mind completely relax means mind naturally at ease. Then after that, you maintain awareness. Maintaining awareness may not be easy for people who are new, who does not have the understanding. Our true mind is naturally just aware before the arising of thought, before the verbalization, the chattering, or the arising of aggregates of mind. So all this, when you understand, then what you do is, you just relax, maintain awareness, and allow things to be. Just let things be. Whatever arises, aware, finish. It can only arise within your 6 sense bases, and your this pure awareness nature can develop the awareness of it. That's why whatever impringe, sense data that impringe upon your sense bases, it will trigger off the respective sense door consciousness. You will become conscious. But when you become conscious, don't behave the usual way, where living beings continue to stir their mind and create mundane thinking. Mundane thinking via the mundane mind that verbalize, chatter, perceive, then go to memory with your views, opinion, conditioning, belief system, etc. You react and stir your mind, thereby creating more thought proliferation. So awareness-based meditation is to understand all this and reverse the thinking, so that you don't follow the old habitual behavior, or we call it the habitual tendency of reacting to sense experience, perceiving, verbalizing, reacting, or stirring. So once you understand all this, whatever arises within your sense spaces, just maintain awareness. Aware, finish. Don't even try to know or do anything. And let the mind slow down. Then, when you are able to do all this, when your stability or awareness has been established, then you realize your mind does not think or stir and react like before. It will just be completely silent, tranquil. Means the silent mind observe, maintain awareness. Through that, you will understand what is going on within the moment, within nature, within existence. So the silent observation of the reality or what is awareness-based meditation. when you completely silence your mind. Once you are without thought, your mindfulness or awareness is already there, because this is the primordial nature. It was there before the arising of thought. It is the first to come out from our nature. And that nature, we call it the pure awareness nature, is always there. So you understand that, then meditation becomes different. Awareness-based meditation is to develop the internal stability of awareness, which is what the Buddha called heedfulness. To be heedful, you have to be ever mindful, then constantly meditative. To be ever mindful, you must train your mind to be mindful first, or aware, then stabilize it, so that the pure awareness nature is very stable, so that it does not stir, it does not create and react to sense experience. And once you are able to develop that, then your meditation, awareness-based meditation, will take off. And you will start to observe many things, understand many things. And that silent mind, which is observing or developing the silent observation of what is the reality within the moment, will let you develop the wisdom and the understanding through its ability to insight into phenomena, to realize there are three characteristics of anicca, dukkha, and anatta, and also enable you to see things as they are, not via your views, opinion, conditioning, and belief system, or your wrong perception of what arises. Because it is silent without word. That's why it can see things as they are. That it can understand through the observation why you become emotional, why you stir your mind, why you react to sense experience, how you become emotional, fearful, excited, how you develop craving, to grasp, to cling, and to attach. Then how you actually arise the aversion, the anger, the hatred, the jealousy, the evil, how through sakkayaditthi, self-delusion, you develop the wrong thought via arising the three evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. So all this, through awareness-based meditation, you develop the understanding. Okay, with that, I will let you meditate on your own. You just follow whatever that I have instructed. Then if you feel that you are more familiar with your object of meditation, you can also use that, especially the mind sweeping method, followed by metta or loving kindness. Then you can completely relax into all mind state that arise, maintain awareness, so that your original true mind return to its original state. When the mundane thinking, stirring, or stop, then your true mind naturally manifests. And that's how you develop the pure awareness within, and stabilize the awareness nature, and use that to meditate. Okay, I will set the alarm for 30 minutes. Then after that, you can continue with your awareness-based training, meditation. Okay, you can slowly, mindfully come out of the meditation. then try to maintain whatever inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness that you have already developed for as long as you can. Invocation to the Devas. In this universe, in the entirety, let the Devas and deities come here. Let them hear the good teachings of the King of Sages, which gives heaven and release, Nibbana. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. Samanta Chakavalesu Atra Gacha Tu Devata Saddhammang Munirajasa Sunantu Sakamokadang Dhamma Savanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Savanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Savanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Iti Beso Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vijacharana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati Satta Deva Manusanang Buddho Bhagavati Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipaseko Opanayiko Pachyatang Veditabo Vinohiti Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Ujupatipanno Sāvaka Sangho Anyapatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Samicipatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Yadidang Chatari Purisa Yukani Atta Purisa Pugala Esa Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttarang Punyang Ketang Lokasati Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Okay, you all can be seated. Then we will continue from where we stop. Okay, we are at the commentary part. The house was owned by a man who had briefly gone away. This man represents the Buddha. During the time of great spiritual power, Buddha Sakyamuni taught the living beings how to overcome the five abilities. When living beings' karmic condition came to an end, Sakyamuni Buddha entered Nibbana or realized Nibbana. After the Buddha realized Nibbana, living beings having lost their crunch fall over. This is what we mean by when the Buddha is no more around. But the sasana is still around, so not too bad. But once the sasana is also no more, there are a lot of living beings. They will have a lot of problem with cultivation, even during Dhamma ending age. So here the analogy is just like an old man, disabled person who depend on a crutch to walk. They were stranded without their crutch. With the Buddha gone, the fightability arose in them again. The fightability are the stability of living beings. Oh, sorry, time. First one is time. Time means samsara, existence. Then the second stability is suffering or afflictions. Then the third stability is stability of living beings. Then the stability of wrong views. And the stability of lifespan. So these are the 5 stability. Tabit means not clear, you cannot see. Although the Buddha had entered or realized Nibbana in the world, causes and conditions for teaching living beings in another world had ripened. So he went there to teach them. But he could not stay in that world forever. So it is said that the Buddha had briefly gone away. He would appear in this world again in the not too distant future. So this one is based on the commentaries. But as we all know, a lot of these world systems, they may have, depending on the world system, sometimes they only have one Sammasambuddha, and sometimes they have 2, sometimes they have 3. So ours is, we are quite unique. As predicted, we will have 5. Okay, I will read on. So it is said that the Buddha had briefly gone away. Here the word briefly is actually not correct, because normally from one Sammasambuddha arising and passing away, the gap between the next one is normally very long. Very, very long. So it's not briefly gone away. When that Sammasambuddha Parinibbana, that world system without the Sammasambuddha normally will have the sasana to sustain is what we call maintaining the teaching so that it can continue to be available. But most of this sasana does not last very long. I think according to Sakyamuni Buddha, who are very familiar with all this Sammasambuddha sasana, he realized the Sangha way that he established stand the highest chance of long period of sasana. And initially he actually was reluctant to admit the Bhikkhuni order, where according to his Sammasambuddha's extraordinary understanding through the cultivation, after observing so many world cycles, how sasana, the length of it vary due to different causes and conditions where you establish the sasana. So it seems if you allow the bhikkhuni or the sasana is supposed to exist for 5,000 years, our sasana, sahawa, will be cut short by 500 years. So that is about 10%. And 500 years, if we can be properly make use of, is really a big chunk of it. Yeah. But nevertheless, because the bhikkhuni that actually later on become bhikkhuni, the lady that requested for this bhikkhuni order was none other than his own mother sister that looked after Sakyamuni Buddha when he was a newborn child and brought up. I think the name was, I forgot the name already. Yeah. He raised the Buddha actually. Then the wife also, Yosohara, were part of the bhikkhuni or lay disciple who requested for the bhikkhuni order. And because of that, they appealed by a lot of his disciples, especially Ananda. That's why he finally consented and agreed to allow the bhikkhuni order. So, based on what was predicted, the sasana that we are going through will last about 4,500 years instead of 5,000 years. So now it seems it's already about more than halfway through. 2,600 over years already. Maybe another 2,000 years or so. Then that sasana will end with the Dhamma ending age. And it completely disappears. Okay, we go back to the notes. Here is another interpretation of this line. So, Shenhua, through the commentary, he said there is another explanation. The Buddha, in teaching living beings, attained the patient acceptance of the non-arising of phenomena. Okay. This is expressed in the following lines. Having completed his task and cultivated pure conduct to perfection, he is no longer subject to cycle of birth and death. Since the Buddha would not be born again in the three rhymes, the rhyme of sensual desire, or the sensual rhyme, and the form rhyme, and the formless rhyme, he is said to have gone away. However, although the Buddha has transcended the three rhymes after he became a Buddha, he would soon return to the world. And so the text says briefly, one of the chapters of the sutta, the Tathagata's lifespan, says that the Buddha has already appeared in the world and entered Nirvana many, many times. He has appeared in the world many times and has then re-entered Nirvana just as many times. This transition are described as coming out of the burning house of the three rhymes. So here, if you have the understanding, then you know that what is mentioned in the sutta is possible. Because a lot of cultivator or so-called Buddhists or even Buddhist practitioners, they are quite rigid because they themselves doesn't really have the understanding to comprehend what happened. So they quote from the scripture. Because in the scripture, after the Buddha Sakyamuni realized enlightenment, he did proclaim a very famous verse, I think, which we have gone through. It's in our Heart Sutta book. He said, "This is my last birth." Then he said, craving, which is the cause of suffering and rebirth has already been rooted out, means avijja or ignorance. Then it's like the house builder, where this physical body that come and take birth every segment of his life is like a house, because this is a physical body, a vehicle. It's like a house for us to live in. Then in that proclamation, he said, "O house builder," he said, he has developed the enlightenment and the wisdom, and he has seen it clearly. That's why he knows, you shall build no more houses. Then for us, civil engineer, we know how you build the house. You have to have the foundation, the structure. Then the most important is the roof that covers the house or protect the rain and the weather from entering the house. So there is a proper house. There is a center pole, they call the ridge pole. Then slanting one that placed on top of the, we call it the ridge pole, is called the rafters. He said, thy ridge pole and rafter has been shattered. Means the roof truss can never stand. Means no more house. He said, house builder, you shall build no more house. Then later on, he proclaimed they call it the paean of joy, I think the title. And he said, I think it's in this book, chanting book. I just get the page. It's on page 11. Paeans of joy. Through many above, I wandered in this samsara, means the endless cycle of birth and death, seeking but not finding the builder of the house. Sorrowful is repeated birth. O house builder, this is the paragraph. You are sin. You shall build no more house. All thereafter are broken, your ridge pole shattered. My mind has attained the unconditioned. Achieved is the end of craving. So based on this, they say, the Buddha will not be reborn again, because he actually in many places said, this is my last birth. And he didn't lie. What he said was true. For this segment of his life, this will be his last birth, born of ignorance. Means the birth as a normal Puthujjana, born of ignorance, is his last. He will not come back as a Puthujjana. But he can still come back and become like the Bodhisattva way, to become a living being again, born of pure love and compassion, where he still have the karmic nature, he still have the what we call the spiritual nature, then he still have this what they call condition for him to have a new birth, but not born of ignorance, born of pure love and compassion, because of the Bodhisattva vow that he has taken. And this makes it possible. But the understanding is, when he comes back, even though he has a Buddha nature where he has perfected his perfection, but he will not be given that title Sakyamuni Buddha, Sammasambuddha, because that one is one entitlement only. When you cultivate the Bodhisattva way, when you end, there is one Sammasambuddha, and that name is established. Yeah. Then the subsequent or future coming means it's like any great being. You may have the spiritual nature that is equivalent to a Sammasambuddha, where he has fully perfected himself, but he does not carry the title. Understand not? Because he will not be like Sakyamuni Buddha when he is born, given that prediction by Dipankara Buddha that he will have what we call a sasana, and he will be born where and given what name or those things. Well, all those predictions are already established because of his long period of cultivation and perfection. But once that one is over, your coming, like Kuan Yin, they have a lot of what they call segmented life that come and do the work of great beings, their nature. That's why you look at the great compassion mantra, Tapecho. This mantra actually come about because of his very unique birth during those periods. I think it's 84 if I'm not wrong. 84 of this segmented rebirth that she came. All these were very established, or what we call unique birth. And when you combine all these and chant them, it becomes the great compassionate mantra. Because the unique quality of Kuan Yin Bodhisattva is, he is famous for perfecting great loving kindness and compassion. She is a very compassionate being. That's why she will answer to the call or cry of all living beings, as long as you establish affinity with her nature. Yeah. That's why he make it so easy, so simple. Whoever who chant his four-house or any of his chanting or mantra, there will be a response, but you have to do it sincerely and link to her nature. That's why my mother also, like many living beings, had great faith in Kuan Yin and like many other living beings, because Kuan Yin is so compassionate. Most of the call or whatever you recite, even you just recite Namo Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, or you don't even have the title 大智大悲观世音菩萨, no need. Namo Kuan Yin Pusa or Om Mani Padme Hum, also sufficient. Or the Heart Sutta, you chant the great compassionate mantra, or anything that is linked to her cultivation and perfection, or you by paying respect and seek her guidance, protection and blessings, that it will manifest, as long as you do it with sincerity, understanding. That's why this type of being, when they come, they are full of compassion, full of loving kindness, and also wisdom. That's why the Prajna Paramita Sutta that make her so famous. Then of all the cultivation, that's why she is called Kuan Si Yin, contemplate the voice through the hearing organ. And that was in the Surangama Sutta later when we share, was identified as the most suitable meditation so-called meditation approach that can give rise to awakening. That's why he is very famous. I think there are 25 great beings came out and share how they develop the awakening and understanding of the true mind and the perfection, etc. Then somebody asked towards the end of all this, which is the most suitable and the best. Then the Buddha, I think, requested Manjushri Bodhisattva to comment, to give the answer. And he chose Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. So all this, later on when we go through the Surangama Sutta, when it comes to that part, I think it was explained in quite detail why true hearing is the most powerful and the most effective. So that one I think is very, very good and very well explained. So once you have the understanding, that's why when we contemplate, we silent. And when you're completely silent, most of the time, your other senses are not active. You know why? Because you normally will close your eye when you meditate. Even if you don't close your eye, there is limited to what you can see. So seeing is normally not active. Then smell, taste, because not always you have nice fragrance, all this, but sound, vibration, the sound of the existence, and all this nature's vibration and living beings' vibration, or whatever that manifests through hearing. Hearing is very powerful. Then they also, I think, explain many other reasons why this organ is very exceptional. Okay, we go back to the notes. Shortly after he left, I think the sutra part mentioned, the real room of the house suddenly got on fire. The house is a metaphor for the three rhymes: sensual rhyme, form rhyme, and the formless rhyme. The rooms are the five skandhas. Means rupa, vedana, sanya, sankhara, vijnana. So rupa is form. It can be physical form or external form that we receive through our sense perception. Means everything that you see from the outside, external form. Means color, shape and form. Then any sound or vibration or music or whatever that you receive as sense data and perceive it through the hearing consciousness. Then likewise smell, taste, tactile and thought process. So rupa, vedana, then sanya, perception, then mental formation or what we call sankhara, everything that your mind can do. Mental states, mental intention, mental volition, or mental formation, or whatever you can do with your thought process, even thinking, planning, scheming, etc. Then all the mind states, your fear, phobia, your insecurity, your sorrow, your lamentation, your whatever mind state. Sometimes it can be peaceful mind state, tranquil, still. All these are part of sankhara. Then finally, the last one is your mind can become conscious. So consciousness is the last aggregate. So, Rupa Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnanam, these are the 5 aggregates that constantly manifest, arise and pass away. We are referring to the second aspect of it, which is the mental 5 aggregate, not as a human being. Yeah. Then the commentary continues. He had not been gone for very long. Then suddenly a fire broke out in the back of the house. How did it happen? Because the children were playing with fire. That's why you are a Puthujjana with delusion, don't have the Dhamma understanding. You perceive the world with delusion. You take the unreal as real. That's why you get yourself afflicted, burned, suffer. So the analogy is the children were playing with fire, this deluded living being. They were careless or heedless, and through their delusion they set the house on fire. That's why every of the aggregate, the Buddha in his final summary, he said, in short, it is due to living beings' sakkayaditthi or self-delusion that condition them to grasp at the 5 aggregates of form and mind that he called dukkha. So when these aggregates of form and mind, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnanam, are grasped at, then it becomes upadana khandhas, grasping aggregate through delusion. So when this is being grasped at, it will condition suffering, affliction, misery. Okay, and I read on. They were careless and set the house on fire. What do you think? Might the children die in the fire? Our 3 rhymes are like a burning house. The fire of our 5 skandha, that's why I say grasping aggregate. When you grasp at the 5 skandha, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana, you suffer, you develop affliction. They are like fire that burns you. That's why the fire sermon. Form is burning. Visual consciousness is burning. Then the sense data that enter is burning. Then the eye, the organ, they are burning. That's why it's like a burning house. So the fire of our 5 skandhas are burning and destroying these 3 rhymes. That's why there is a lot of suffering, a lot of misery, affliction. That's why everywhere there is conflict, war, misunderstanding. Then the evil roots of greed, hatred and delusion overwhelm the consciousness of living being, especially the heedless living being. Okay, we finish. Now we go to the next part of the sutta. All at once, the 4 sides were engulfed in raging flame. So this is the analogy or the description. The ridgepole, the beams, rafters and pillars shook and cracked with explosive sound. When they snap apart and fall, the wall collapsed. Okay, commentaries. All at once, the 4 sides. 4 sides represent the foundation of mindfulness. After the Buddha's parinibbana, the bhikkhus and the bhikkhuni should abide in the 4 foundations of mindfulness. Means contemplation regarding the body, kaya nupassana. Then the second one is Vedana nupassana, feeling actually, is not sense perception, feeling. Then the third foundation is Citta nupassana, the mind. Then the 4th foundation is Dhamma nupassana, not phenomena, Dhamma. Dhamma are truth. We call it the essential Dhamma of the Buddha when they cultivate. So in Mahayana they always like to use this word for the first foundation. Contemplation of the body as impure. But as we all know, under the Theravada tradition, Kayanupassana got 6 categories of practice. The contemplation on the 32 parts as impure, and the last one, the 6th contemplation on the stages of decomposition of the physical body. These 2 are to contemplate they call the body as impure. But when you cultivate a 4 foundation, it's not so much as contemplating it as impure, especially the 32 parts. Actually, what the Buddha wanted the cultivator to develop understanding is, this physical body is not what you think. It's not really a being. It's a phenomenon, dependent originating, condition arising. When the causes and conditions are there, then it manifests, then it arises. Means like the bullock cart analogy that the Buddha gave. When the parts come together, then it forms a concept. Then you give it a name. You name it bullock cart because it performs a function. Then it arises already, exists already. Then when the Buddha says, take all the parts away, then what do you see? The bullock cart is gone. We are no more. It does not perform that function anymore. It's only parts, not jointed, not connected. So our physical body also same, supported by what? Essentially is the 32 parts, the major organ, the brain, everything. Then all the description. So when all these parts come together and perform a function, then it animates into a human being or living being. And because it manifests, then we deludedly cling onto it, grasp onto it, and believe that this is real. This one is what we are. That's why the ego, the personality manifests, the I and the me. So when you see all this clearly, then you realize it's not necessarily like Shenhua or the Mahayana description, contemplate the kaya or physical body as impure. Although it has some good intent, because to them they want to create the understanding so that you understand this body is not what you think, it's impure in the sense that they use the term 臭皮囊. It's like a skin bag. Skin, pi, nang, skin bag, with all the impure thing inside, so that don't deludedly attach, cling and grasp. So that was the intent. But the real understanding of the teaching is the parts coming together, the causes and conditions. Then when the last contemplation is being taught, contemplate on the 9 stages of cemetery decomposition. The meaning is also not that it is foul, smelly, or anything, but it's more of understanding that when the physical body is devoid of the consciousness that is needed to sustain the living being's condition, because to make one conscious, you need the consciousness. So when the consciousness separates, when it's devoid of consciousness, this physical body, which are the 4 elements, will go the way of nature. That is the more important wisdom. If it goes the way of nature, it's not a permanent, unchanging entity. That's why it's not you. Then why do you cling? That's why they say finally from dust to dust. We are from the element it arises. Then when condition ceases to be, it returns to its elements. So all these are more important understanding when you contemplate, when you reflect. But the key to enlightenment is still training your mind to be aware, mindful. That's why Kayanupassana, the first category of cultivation is anapanasati. Develop mindfulness of your breathing, the in and out breath. Once you develop it, you develop sati. Then you stabilize it until you are ever mindful. Then use it to meditate, constantly meditative. That's why after anapanasati, the next category of practice is very important. Mindfulness of the four posture. That's why you must follow that. Then after that, the third category of practice is mindfulness of all the movement and activity connecting the four posture. Means you must develop sati sampajana, mindfulness and clear comprehension, so that you do not deviate. With clear comprehension, the sati becomes samasati. You won't go wrong, you won't deviate. Then that daily mindfulness, when it's stabilized, can give rise to wisdom for you to understand many, many things. Then the next contemplation is, under Kayanupassana, the fourth one is mindfulness of the four elements. It basically explaining to you this physical body without consciousness cannot be you. It's made out of basic four elements. That's it. Yeah. Then 32 parts. Then finally the 9 stages of cemetery decomposition. Yeah. But this 4th, 5th and 6th part is more for monks and nuns at that time, during the Buddha's time. Because for us now, with the modern society, we don't really need that. Where your wisdom will arise once you finish Kayanupassana, first category, second category, and third category. Finish. Once you develop that, the initial wisdom, the awakening, the insight, they will arise, and you will develop the awakening. Then after that, of course, you need to cultivate the stability of mindfulness leading to heedfulness. Then when you develop that heedfulness, you will see a lot of things. Then the other foundation of mindfulness, Vedana, which is feeling, then mind state or citta, content of consciousness, and Dhamma. You will see them all. You will awaken. Then within the last foundation, Dhammanupassana, the last category is contemplate on the four noble truths and its three turning. That one is the ultimate cultivation, which means finally you have to return to contemplate on the four noble truths and its three turning. That's why whatever meditation you do, if it does not bring you back to the cultivation of the Four Noble Truths and its three turning, which is basically the Noble Eightfold Path, that is not the meditation as taught by the Buddha. Because in the Parinibbana Sutta it's mentioned, there was a lay person, I think, that came and meet the Buddha. Towards the end, I think, he was the last to meet. Ananda initially he was reluctant to let him meet, because he said, the Buddha is unwell, very sick. Please, don't disturb him. But Sakyamuni Buddha overheard. Then he called out to Ananda. He said, let him in. And this one is very important because this person sincerely and genuinely wants to know. There are so many religions in the world, you see. How do we know which is the real one so that we can develop the understanding and don't waste time on those non-important religion or the religion that doesn't point towards the truth and the awakening? Then Sakyamuni Buddha answered very well. He never say it's Buddhism, or he never even tell this disciple, you must take refuge, you must follow my teaching. No. He just said, as long as there is this noble eightfold path in the world, he said, there will be the world will have enlightenment, he said, Aryas. The world will not be without Aryas. That's why his requirement is, as long as this noble eightfold path is there. But this is the real meditation as taught by the Buddha. Because whatever cultivation you do, let's say you believe you are enlightened, but if you don't have the embodiment of this noble eightfold path factor, then what type of enlightenment is that? Means you don't have right view with regards to a law of nature that governs life and society or existence. Means especially the spiritual law, karma niyama, chitta niyama, and dhamma niyama. Means you don't have wisdom. You don't have genuine wisdom. Then, based on that, you will suffer. You will become afflicted. And how can that constitute enlightenment if you don't even have this basic understanding of life, existence, especially the basic right view with regards to these three very powerful spiritual laws? Then without this right view, how can you arise a right thought to live life? Then thought, condition, action and speech. If your view is wrong, your thought will be wrong. If your thought is wrong, your speech and action will also be wrong. Then how can you say you are enlightened? Means you are very crude. You don't have right thought, you don't have right speech, right action. You don't even know how to communicate with people. You don't even know how to arise the pleasant, gentle, kind speeches that lead to love, harmony, understanding. Instead, you are still very crude. That's why without this noble eightfold path, you can't. Then if your view is not there, it can never condition right thought. If your thought is wrong, action and speech will also go wrong. Because the basis of your action and speech is your mental intention. Then after that, how can you apply right living? If you don't have the right view, you cannot live life. Because you don't understand life. That's why without noble eightfold path, you cannot be termed enlightened. Then the four right effort to constantly purify means first right effort to abandon the wrong thought, wrong speech, wrong action. Then next right effort to prevent the arising of the wrong thought, wrong speech, wrong action. Then you need the right effort to cultivate the virtue, the right thought that are still not in you. If you don't cultivate this, how can you have right thought? You can't. Then the right view, the right effort, lastly, the fourth one, to refine upon all this right action, speech and thought process that you have already developed. Means you have to develop the refinement of it until it's been perfected. That's why this four right effort is a continuous cultivation until you develop stability of wisdom and understanding and awakening. Then if you don't have all the above, you cannot have mindfulness and samadhi. Well, to start, you must have mindfulness. Stabilize it to be ever mindful. Then develop samadhi. That's why sati and samadhi are spiritual faculties that are prerequisite for cultivation and awakening. That's why we call it awareness-based meditation. Develop awareness, stabilize it so that it becomes ever mindful, then use it to meditate or cultivate Noble Eightfold Path. Then you become constantly meditative. That is how one becomes heedful. So it is very clear from this explanation that without Noble Eightfold Path that arise from the Four Noble Truths, you are not really enlightened, because whatever you do in the name of enlightenment, if your cultivation does not bring you back to the cultivation and the perfection of the Noble Eightfold Path qualities, so that you become noble ones, really very noble in all aspects of life, very noble in your understanding of life. That's why you have right view, right understanding. Then very noble in the way you arise your thought process, in the way you communicate with people, in the way you act, speak, and arise whatever living condition, or how you live your life, right living. So all this can be clearly understood. Okay, we go back to the notes, because I more or less describe the whole thing, so that we can go through straight on. Then you will see the big difference. Where they all mainly followed Mahayana text. And the four foundation of mindfulness is a topic where very few cultivators can develop the full understanding. So now we go for the first one, Kayanupassana. They always teach like that, contemplate the body as impure. Of course, no harm, but based on what I explained is more important. Then we see the commentary, see what宣化explained. First of all, one must cultivate contemplation of impurity, which is meant to break one's attachment to that physical body or self. That's why I say it's not pointing at the main intent of Kayanupassana. With Kayanupassana, the main intent is to develop the mindfulness, stabilize it, so that your daily mindfulness is very stable, so that it will culminate into heedfulness. And the heedful never die. That's why from there you start. The contemplation on the body as impure, not so useful. It's a small part, no harm. That's why I say you can contemplate. It may help you a bit, but no harm. But the main intent of it is more important. Then here, of course, they elaborate, why are you attached to your body? Why do you try to bring it benefits? Many people think their body are wonderful and lovable. They pamper them, not letting them getting too cold or too hot. They do not want their body to go thirsty or hungry either. In general, people take good care of their bodies. This is because they don't realize that their body are actually impure. If they know how unclean their body really were, they would realize how pointless it is to put on the fine clothing and eat fine food. No matter how pretty the clothing, it's just like dressing up a toilet. You can put the most elegant clothing and accessory on a toilet, but it's still a place of filth. Okay, we go through quickly. Our body is just the same, no matter how nice your clothing. It is just like dressing up a toilet. No matter how fine the food you eat, you still you are still doing nothing more than make a little bit more excrement. It's of no great benefit to you. Therefore, you should contemplate the body as impure. So this is the Mahayana Sutta explanation, to get rid of your attachment to body. To get rid of the attachment is you have to contemplate many things, like the 5 daily contemplation also. Do not see your body as being precious. If you follow your insatiable greed and create offenses with your body, then it becomes a bad and impure entity. On the other hand, if you use your body to cultivate the path, then it will become pure and can help you become a Buddha. It is the same body. It just depends on how you use it. I say the user. When we cultivate the 4 foundations of mindfulness, we must first start by cultivating the contemplation of impurity. There are 9 kinds of impurity with regards to the body. So how is the body impure? It comes from an impure source, from the union of the mother's ovum and the father's sperm. Since the source of our body is impure, we should not look upon them as being so important. If you do not bathe for a week, your body will start to smell, as it collects all kinds of unclean things. This is another reason the body cannot be considered pure. There are 9 sources of impurity, or we call it the orifice, from which the contempt or pollutant discharge, which correspond to the 9 orifices of the body. This orifice constantly excrete filth. Our 2 eyes often discharge tears and yellowish matter. Our 2 ears continuously produce earwax. We do not know where earwax comes from, but after some time, it is excreted in our ear canal. That makes 4 openings. Our 2 nostrils have nasal mucus, which flow out when our nose runs. On top of that, our mouth has saliva and phlegm, which are also unclean. That makes 7. Then add the alimentary opening, and that makes 9. You may think of your body as being very precious, but what is it? Actually, when you get right down to it, it is filled with all the unkind, all kinds of unclean products or substances. Our body are nothing more than garbage can. If you insist on slaving away madly for the body, what good is that? You work so hard to give it a nice place to live, a lot of fine clothing to wear, and the best food to eat. You pamper it, but it shows you no mercy at all. When the time comes, it's still going to get old. No matter how well you treat it, it gets cold in due course. No matter how you pamper it, it still gets sick. No matter how you pamper it, it goes right ahead and dies. When the time comes to die, filthy excrement regularly issue from the 9 orifices of the body. The impurity of the body cannot be explained fully with words. Having contemplated how impure the body is, you should also contemplate the rest of the foundation, feeling, mind, and Dhamma. Each of these foundations of mindfulness can be applied not only to the primary object, in this case the body, but also to the other 3. Okay, we stop here. Please stop here. I mark this page. Okay, now coming back to the second session.
Brother Mr. Steele, OK，他晚上好。
Sadhu.
Brother，我share一个我上个礼拜听到这个Chan 跟 Y-Fan 的sharing，Brother 你就讲你 mention 这个 part 说叫Y-Fan maintain silent。
Yes，that one very good。
对，我从这个 sentence 里面，我就 recall，我有个experience，就是上次有一次我去 visit 我的母亲的时候，that day at night 的时候，我的母亲突然间她很不舒服，她本来是睡在床上，然后她就她 feel like 整个人not feeling well，
对，
然后她就起来。他就跟我讲，我很不舒服，就一直在被床上揉来揉去，然后我就看住他，我的头讲要不要去医院呢？因为我的 mother 她不习惯去医院，然后我又看那个 condition 又很像还不是 serious 到要去医院，然后我就一直在 observe，所以他就一直。因为我感觉到他应该是很辛苦，因为usually他不会讲的，对。但那他就他又起来了又躺下去，他整个床差不多蹬了360度一直揉来揉去这样，我就看住他，然后我在想我是 observe， 然后 after about 45 minutes 了过后，然后里面就突然间会想找观世音菩萨，然后我就会很自然的，我就跑去他的旁边，我就2个手握住他，hold住他的手，然后我就因为我不要给他知道我要 recite 观世音菩萨，然后我就在我的 heart 里面，我就默念这个南无观世音菩萨，然后我就recite 了几声了以后。它里面就totally就 silent 掉了，他自己auto的就这样 silent，然后我就这样在 silent 里面 hold 住他的手for few minutes 然后我就看到他慢慢的就 calm down 下来，然后他整个人就 OK 了then after 我 hold 他 about few minutes 啦然后他整个人就好像好掉了，然后他整个讲我要去厕所了，然后我就bring 他去厕所了出来，然后他就讲我很累，我要睡觉的。然后我讲然后我就从上个礼拜的那个silent 里面，我 recall 到这个 incident， 然后才想到然后我看到了这个the power of silence， the power of the faith，actually 我也不懂要怎样做。其实那个时候我一直看住他的时候，我也不懂要做什么。就suddenly这样里面一个讲找观世音菩萨，然后我要个的这样子去 hold 他的手。
In fact, that is the best way. With your understanding, your whatever nature's vibration, you just hold their hand. Last time I also hold my mother's hand, and she feel very good. Because our vibration has this power because of the Dhamma inside and the understanding behind us. Then we know what to do. Then when you invoke all these great beings, nature based on your understanding, where you have affinity with your mother, very close, as parents, even siblings or parent and children, or even good friend or what, you have affinity. So when you are sincere and you wish for their well-being, you hold their hands silent, then you recite chant from there. Then it will manifest that causes and condition. Then after that, your vibration that touch your hand will give them faith. Then it will transmit. Then through nature's law, it will develop their movement. Then they naturally calm down and they will recover. They will recover. I remember in the early years, 1989 or end of 89, 90, there was one, actually he should say Kayanmita, but this is the first batch one. He's a mechanical engineer, my senior. And last time they do all this yoga, the Hindu type of Kundalini meditation. Then later on he get into trouble. Then he came and see me. Then he talked to me. Then I teach him to stop doing that type of meditation. I told him, you do that type of meditation, I cannot guide you because I don't do that type of meditation. But you want to follow the Buddhist way. Well, that time he got a lot of problem. So he willing to listen. Then he also believe in Kuan Yin. He actually went to KYCO, Kuan Yin Contemplative Order. At that time, I think somewhere near this section 222, the Jalan 222, the area one, Tony something. There is a Tony, don't know what, who started the organization. So what happened was, he recovered after that. And then he met my teacher, Acharyantra. He became very happy. Then he also followed us to meet him. Then he also do dana offering all that. Then his life turned around. Then his problem gone. Then finally he also met my last guy. Then all his group of, I think, almost 30 of them that do the Hindu Kundalini meditation. When the Swami is around, that 1 week they feel like bliss, peaceful, But when the Swami went back to India, no more teacher, all of them get into deep trouble. And a lot of psychic backlash hit. Then the karmic, everything. Then finally, after they met my last guy actually told me, later on, all of them who attend, that have faith, he helped to activate the gateway to the nature. He came and talked to me. He said, you're his friend, and all the friends he bring that do the Hindu Kundalini. He said, a lot of that negativity inside that consciousness. He said, don't know what type of meditation they do. He said he himself tried to help, but he felt like this one is very toxic. He used the word toxic. But he said luckily he know how to act like a funnel. You know what is a funnel? Let it pass through. But he also very tired. He said, wow, he said, horrible. He said, this group. And because of that, they have faith and they become like more Buddhist, I should say, and also didn't touch all those things already. Then do a lot of donation, dana, everything. Then radiate loving kindness, recite Kuan Yin's contemplations, like Om Mani Padme Hum, and all the sing, all those things. Then after that, many years later, because I thought everything okay already, then one day, you know what happened? He called me early morning, 6 o'clock. He said, Tio, can I help? I said, why? He said the wife suddenly become like, don't know affected by what, full of fear, right? And cannot do anything. Then he called me, he said, can you help? I said, okay, you give me 15 minutes, I said. Then I dropped by. So before I went, I remember I meditate in front of my altar here. Then also there. Then I read it purish. Then after that, I went over. Then he said, you better have a look. So I went upstairs. Wow, the wife like, I don't know what word to use, like something is inside the body. Not you, herself. Then because I know them, so I also held her hand. I said, don't worry. I said, have faith. Calm yourself down. And after that, he become quiet. And I said, have you called the ambulance? Yeah. Because you cannot handle, you better call the ambulance and send. Then he said, yeah, the ambulance coming. But then later on, when the ambulance come, he recovered already. Then I don't know whether he still sent him to the hospital or not. That one I don't know. But I know he recovered already. And then later on, he called me. He said, thank you so much. He said, that's why a lot of these things, you may not understand how it works. Sometimes I don't have to be there. Like wife Han's case, I just text Chan, then pass the message, and she just described in her own word. She's silent, follow the instruction exactly, and silent. Then she feels that she has more or less recovered. Then she is very confident the next morning the test will be okay. And then when they were in the hospital, you hear the whole sharing. They feel very safe, like you are in a very safe environment, like the Dhamma protector or whatever. They make you like feel. They call you what? They give you faith, and they make you feel really like you know that condition. Like give you a lot of confidence, like you have faith in the environment and the way things manifest. It means you know, and this is what Dhamma is capable of manifesting. When you have the understanding, what you need is to silence your mind. Well, that nature is very powerful. No matter what happens, always remember, nothing die. He know you, he know me. It's form and mind, you understand? Consciousness and the physical. Then you know how to silence that nature take over. Understand? Then just let things be, relax in it. Then the nature inside will heal you. Your merits, your wholesomeness, your cultivation, your mindfulness, they will do something. And you will know it. You will know what is going on. Especially you have cultivated mindfulness and awareness. For your case, you did it very well because there is condition for you to help your mother. They say your mother recover. So all this type of sharing is very good because it gives faith to Kayamitas, to fellow cultivator. And all this, any sincere cultivator who do it with the proper understanding and correct practice, you can also do all this type of thing. It's not difficult. But of course, to establish that understanding and stability need cultivation. And you need to really develop the understanding. Otherwise, like the other Kayamita last time, he was the president of one of the Buddhist society. That time he got this prostate problem. I told you before, admitted to the hospital. But before he was admitted, he said, when the specialist told him, very likely through the blood test only, because the figure is like so high, way out of the normal. He said, very likely cancer, 3rd stage or 4th stage. Oh, his whole face puchat. He said, he didn't know what to do. He panicked. I visited him with another Kayamita, his good friend also, both also accountant. And he told us, he said, but the moment the news come through the hearing consciousness, his face puchat, and all the Dhamma fly out of the window. Nothing left inside there. Only fear, cold fear. That's why without the stability of understanding, you will have cold fear. Because they study theoretical Dhamma, not the one with the understanding. When you have the understanding, your faith very different, like what Wai Fan went through, and even Chan also. Like she said, she has faith, no more doubt. At the Qingdao trip, she also shared with us, second last day before we go back. He said after going through all this and experiencing this spiritual trip at Qingdao, now the faith to cultivate and go this way, unshakable. He will continue. And this is what will manifest when you have the affinity and the causes and conditions to come across the Dhamma. Then when the time comes, you just move on your own. Like I told you, 1986, when Kuan Yin came with the message, everything come. The book come, the guide come, the teacher come, whatever that I need come. And very weird thing happen. They don't know me one. For them to actually contact me is also another impossible one. But somehow the condition fall into place. Then they just come. That's why last retreat, a lot of new people were there, and some of them are like meant to be, and they are doing very well, and they are progressing very well. The other one is Wong. Wong. Wong is the one that went to Padmasuri's house also, then attended the retreat also. Then the KK also starts to develop the faith. He also had good meditative experience. So surprisingly, the last retreat, a lot of new people progress very fast because they have faith, clean slate, and they listen attentively, and they do. But Wong is not a clean slate, but he has faith, very important, and he willing to try the new way which I taught him, and that one helped him a lot. But he also realized thought-based meditation cannot realize the Dhamma that is beyond thought, and that one convinced him. That's why he was looking for ways to get to know me and attend my class, and especially the retreat. That's why a lot of these things is like meant to be. Very good. So now you continue. Any more sharing? 还有3个字。
然后我突然间明白这个the power of silence 跟 the power of faith 尤其是这个 faith。当你有 faith 的时候，真的是很多的东西它会 fall into the place。就刚才我before 我来 class 的时候，我就听今天Chin Hao post 的那个short Dharma
that one also very good.
Then 他那是RPG 的sharing then 就讲到那个 acceptance。我听完了整个的那个的 talk 了以后，我忽然间里面有一个understanding 说 beside cultivate other Dharma to understand 这个 acceptance，你要去 cultivate。我里面讲你还要 be able to silent。然后突然间我就明白，对，当我们一 able to silent 的时候，我们就满天麦不会 arise。对，因为你满天麦一 arise 的时候 ，duality 它就 arise 了，它就有 right and wrong。所以那个时候你的 memory、你的 view， 你就会put into it，你就会去 judge 它了。对，所以就很多的那种condition world 的那种 games，你就一直在里面 lost into 那个 games 里面，所以你要 be able to accept the reality 的时候，the other part 就是你要 be able to silent。The moment 我们一 silent 的时候，这个满天麦不 arise 的时候，这个 world 这个世界这个没有 arise 的时候，这个 world 它就没有升起来了。
The creation stop, and because the creation stop, your nature manifests, and that one is very powerful. Because that one is beyond thought, beyond mind, the unconditioned Dhamma. So when you are with that, your nature becomes very different. It like brightens up, but you must know how to develop that ability to silence. You are not easy. If you don't do awareness-based meditation, you cannot. You will verbalize, you will continue with the heedless thinking, then you will end up using thought, and the thought will try to reason, then the other one is analyze right and wrong, good and bad. Then through your views, opinion, conditioning, and belief system, you create more thinking, more sankhara, and you create more of the karmic activity. That's why all this will condition negative karma to arise. Then, for no reason, living beings become miserable. Then sometimes the karmic condition, and I want to explain this. The karmic condition is like, once you go through this karmic conditioning, means from your past, the karma already unfold, then there are causes and conditions for it to afflict you. If you don't have the Dhamma, you will suffer. That's why initially, most of these people who don't have the Dhamma, they don't know how to actually attend to such conditions. They straight away develop fear first, then worry, then uncomfortable. And these are karmic conditioning now. It will condition you into all those mind state that is termed as suffering and affliction. But this is a karmic conditioning that will manifest. And you don't know how to reverse all this through having faith, silencing your mind and let things be. Then ask for forgiveness or request great beings help, Kuan Yin or whatever, just silent. Then recite. Whatever that can give rise to faith and affinity, even the triple gem, it can help. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato. You are reciting homage to thee, the Buddha, who is an arahant, who is a Sammasambuddha. So all this has its efficacy, has its effect, and we call it the result that can manifest to help living being go through all this. That's why even Hsuan, when he was attacked while going to US in the ocean, well, on land he got psychic, he's very powerful, so they cannot touch him. Then they waited for causes and conditions. When he was in the sea, this is all related to karmic. Well, later on he also realized, he also shared in his biography, he said he helped somebody, many people who came and see him, but he intervened with their karma through what they call his ability. That's why his spiritual penetration or something. Then sometimes he must have challenged the non-human or what. And because of that, they really, it was mentioned, I think, inside one of the Bible. He said, this non-human who actually came and collect their karmic debt, but were not able to do it because he was very powerful. Then they went back and see their master, and the master said, this Master Hsuan, we cannot touch him. On land he's too powerful. So they waited. That's why when he was at the sea, the ship, they developed the what they call weather changes and all that. And he also knew he got no choice. He finally called out to Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. He chant, he recite. And he silent and allow Kuan Yin's nature to help. Then it reversed the whole thing. Then he reached US safely. But before he left, according to the biography, he was poisoned a few times in Hong Kong and mainland China. Then he got this ability, there was psychic or something. He managed to restrict the poison at certain part of the body. Then when he reached the state, he managed to clear it. So all this, what I want to share is, when the karmic conditioning comes, the person affected, if they don't have the Dhamma, they cannot do anything. Because the Buddha said, you are born of your karma, as your karma conditions support where you are what you are because of karma. The only way to break this is ask for forgiveness. then repent. Then after that, evoke power of merits, or recite blessing, protection, and guidance of all these great beings. That's why you must have the Dhamma. So for me, I don't interfere. Well, I don't have psychic. I also don't want to interfere through whatever. I invoke the power of merits, nature's law. Then when I see those people who came to my class or attended my classes or travel with me as Kayamita or what, their wholesomeness. Sometimes small thing you do, you may not know. Like sometimes you unknowingly develop some wholesomeness. You listen to Dhamma attentively with the faith, then you rejoice. Then off and on, like our Tuesday class, you saw people bring all the food, the offering, then later you also bring, you also offer, then they offer. Then later on, some of the Kayamita, they will invite me out for lunch, for dinner, and all these are very wholesome, but cultivator may not know. Then when you listen to Dhamma attentively, the merits is fantastic. Like I explained, every of these Dhamma session, the 10 merit towards action, you almost cultivated them all. When you make offering, you rejoice. Then you pay respect. Then you do offering. So dana, then you renew your precept. Sila, then you meditate. Bhavana. Then listening to Dhamma, straightening your view, share merit, transfer merit. Then among Kayamita, you help out in whatever program, like the gathering of Kayamita, or what, you provide service. Then spiritual trip, some become organizer, retreat also same. Then some become treasurer. Then some, they will volunteer to do other things. So all these are what we call service to sasana, service to the Dhamma, dispensation and all. So when you develop all this, your virtue, your merits, your wholesomeness actually is there already. So what I do is I just invoke power of merits, finish. For causes for you to recover. Then of course I will also radiate on my own. Then whatever that can manifest, then it will arise. Then this karmic conditioning, my nature can sense it. Then I will know those who have affinity or what. And whenever they call or what, even Hsuan also know. Then it is very potent, very powerful, and it has its effect. Although we don't interfere, we don't do anything, but we invoke power of merits through understanding, through what we call wisdom. That's why the only way to change the cause of karmic is through wisdom and asking for forgiveness, and invoke power of merits. Because these are nature's law. So if you don't know how to do all this, because when you have wisdom, you can see the causes and conditions when it manifests. Then you will know how to actually invoke the power of merits or whatever that is possible to help out in the situation. And when you manifest it with understanding, that is what we call the wisdom part. That's why only wisdom can change the cause of a karmic conditioning. And this karmic condition, later on as you cultivate, develop all this, you will become very stable in your understanding, and you can recognize all this and you can see. That's why I used to share with you all the last few years. The karmic conditioning that manifests, I can see it. Even earlier on, my sister and the children, they do house renovation, they got problem among themselves. You can see on the karmic conditioning. Well, this is what they have done in the past. Then when the time comes for causes and conditions to manifest, it will trigger one over simple thing like renovating a house. And argue until I tell you. Of course, before they have the Dhamma, normal human beings are the Puja. No way they can have the understanding. But when you have the understanding, you can see. That's why earlier on the last few years, I've been trying to explain to Sui also about the karmic conditioning. You can see that even before a being die, especially people's parents, elderly, when the karmic consciousness take over, karmic consciousness take over means the karmic conditioning is inside him already. You can see they are not themselves already. They call Lao Han Xiong. As you age, you become like not yourself already. If you have the karmic conditioning is taking over. So the karmic, that's why don't play a fool with karma. You are born of your karma, heir to your karma conditions, or you are what you are because. And this karmic thing very powerful. You cannot escape one. You reap what you sow, really true one. And when they manifest, you don't have the Dhamma understanding. You cannot see, you cannot understand. And sometimes people, through their delusion, through their karmic affliction, they react to it. It becomes worse. The more you react, the worse you become. That's why last time I used to advise you all, whatever happened in life, don't resist. Don't react. You remember? Don't get angry. Don't become miserable. All this cannot help you. Silent. Then like song come to know through that thought. Acceptance with understanding. When you know whatever arises, like the Buddha said, there are causes and conditions behind. And what are these causes and conditions? Well, he said, each and every living being under the fifth contemplation, you are born of your karma, heir to your karma, conditioned and supported by, and you are what you are. So definitely has a lot to do with your karma. Understand? That's why you accept. Yeah, these are karmic. It has manifested. So I do what I have to do. If I need to ask for forgiveness, I ask for forgiveness. If I can invoke power of merits for turnaround, I do. Then if I need to repent for those who are new, so that you will not repeat all this karmic negativity again, you do. That's why these three is very powerful. Then to invoke power of merit, you need wisdom. To ask for forgiveness, you also need wisdom. Understand? Then to know how to silence and manifest all this, you also need wisdom. Means Dhamma wisdom. And all this has been taught. But the application part, very few people understand. So today we should thank Song for arising the condition for me to explain all this again, so that you all know how to apply them and develop the faith further and the joy and all these things. Okay, we better let Song summarize at the end.
这个 silence 它是很多的 layers 所以我们一定要有我们的 actually the Buddha Dharma 就是一个 silent 的一个 journey
We are awareness based
对
heedfulness
这个 silent 就是它要 come with understanding要 come with the faith 然后去 cultivate 它是一个 step by step 一个 layer 慢慢的这样子静下去the more 你安静 the more 你就 clarity the more mindful and then the more 你能够 penetrate the Dharma 所以这个就我们我就share with everybody like 就是我们好好的去 cultivate the silent
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Rejoice. Okay, now we share merit. Akasata cha bhumata devanaga mahindika punyang tang anumoditwa chirang rakantu sukasasana itta vata chamehi sampadan punya sampadan Sabbe deva anumodantu sabbasampati siddhya อิดังเมญาตินังโหตุสุขิตาหันตุญาตโยอิดังเมญาตินังโหตุสุขิตาหันตุญาตโยอิดังเมญาตินังโหตุสุขิตาหันตุญาตโยเดโวสัตุกาเลนะสัสสัมปติเหตุเจฟิโตภาวะตุโลโกเชราชาภาวะตุดัมมิโกเอมินาพุญญังคามินะมาเมบาลาสมากโมสัตตังสมากโมโหตุยาวานิวานาปาติยาสาธุสาธุสาธุ Okay, you all can now pay respect mindfully to Lord Buddha, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, and all the great beings. Then we end. Sadhu.